I think that when we think about creativity, or think about consciousness, or think about research, those kind of projects, we tend to use a schema which Lakoff and Johnson refer to as the source path goal schema. So we conceive of, well, research particularly is the most obvious. We conceive of research as being a path which leads from ourselves in a state of ignorance or a place of ignorance, journeying along some kind of path from that source to a goal, which is this slightly more illuminated state of having gained the knowledge that research represents. It's a kind of journey towards the object of knowledge which is conceived as lying at the end of that path, source path, goal. I say that's about research. I think that's also the case with creativity. Most of the models of creativity involve a number of stages, or phases, or parts, and those parts again are conceived as procedural, processual, as leading one through certain locations in epistemological space until one arrives at a certain point where the creative object emerges. So, for example, in Graham Wallace's model, which is probably the most famous from his essay from the 1920s called The Art of Thought, he breaks down creativity into 4 stages, which is, just so you can remember, preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification, with illumination being perhaps the most relevant right now, illumination being that moment at which the creative solution to the problem or the creative artwork emerges into the world, I guess. But again, those stages, the preparation, incubation stages, are seen as preparatory to the illumination stage, and are seen as locations, again, in space that one moves through in order to achieve this goal, which is the production of a creative object. I mentioned consciousness as well because I think that's how we tend to view consciousness. That consciousness is a series of ongoing perceptions. Guys, come on! Sorry, my dog's chasing. I think they're cranes actually, or possibly herons. So we conceive of consciousness as being a set of perceptions, a stream of consciousness, which William James talks about, is seen as that progression of different experiences, thoughts and feelings and so on. And again, it's those thoughts and feelings which are the object, the subject, the matter, the material, the stuff of consciousness. Presumably all of the things which lead up to that, and I use the term lead up to advisedly, tend to be less closely regarded. They are part of the source and part of the path, which in that understanding leads us to focus upon the goal of consciousness, which is this ongoing narrative stream, if you like. I know that's not the case in all understandings. From what little I know of Buddhism, there's a sense there in which one tries to focus upon, and I'm talking about consciousness here, one tries to focus not upon the object of consciousness. And I think they tend to use light metaphors. It's not the idea is not to focus upon the object on which the light falls, so to speak, but upon the light itself, or upon the space which the light is illuminating, that kind of thing. But generally, I think we don't. We tend to be quite instrumental about all these processes: research, creativity, and consciousness, and try to get a sense that that these preparatory stages, the journey, simply serves the instrumental end of carrying us to the point where the object of knowledge, the research outcome, the conscious experience, the creative object is realized. Certainly one of the things I'm interested in is taking away that trajectory, because the source path goal has trajectory to it. There's a sense in which, in all of those examples, there's a movement from the source toward the goal through some kind of creative processual space, which I presume is, just built into our embodiment. But it's quite interesting to think, I suspect, not of that, or to deprivilege that movement, that intentional flow from the source toward the object, in favour of a way of looking at the space itself, to take one's focus away from the outcome or of the object of knowledge or the moment of consciousness, by just stopping that flow for a moment, by just not attending to that intentional flow and just attending to the space which habitually intentionality flows through. Well, that's my interest, at least. How I would possibly realise that, I don't know. I'm just trying to get a picture of this little butterfly on this leaf.